this a regular occurrence, Sean?
Hello and welcome to another edition of the SPFL Through the Lens. And this week we've got special guest Sean Crighton. How are we doing, sir?
I'm good. All good, yeah.
And we've got a man that does things like this. A no-nonsense defender. I thought Ronaldo could jump. Now this guy, you wiped him out.
Nah, never.
There's nothing wrong with that tackle.
You done that one though.
I won the ball, mate.
Aye. But a no-nonsense defender, eh? Total commitment.
That's it.
So how you been?
Good. Aye, busy, as always.
You training today?
I was taking the under-18s tonight. So we were in, just literally finished about half an hour ago. So came back to get welcomed on here. Yes,
and certainly welcome indeed. So get on to your playing career first, right? You started at a young age. Who gave you your first break? How did that come about?
Well, I was at St Mirren as a kid. Davy Longwell was my coach all the way through. He kind of gave me my first break in terms of youth academy football, and then I went for him with the 19s. Mm-hmm. And then Gus McPherson and Andy Millen kind of handed my debut when I was there. And then I went out on loan. Andy and Davy at St Mirren were the kind of ones that first sent me in the direction, and then obviously I went out on loan to Montrose, and up there Jamie McKenzie was the manager at the time, along with Kenny Black. So it was, I'd probably say them gave me my first kind of breaks, yeah.
Because it was at a young age, wasn't it? Was it like 12 or something?
Aye, I was about 17, 18. Yeah, when I first
kind of made my... 12? I thought that was when you started off in the academies.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were meaning my first break in terms of...
No, getting in a first team. No, for when you started in the academy.
He doesn't tell you the full story.
They're all cryptic questions, Sean. Come on.
Aye, St Mirren. So obviously, I was about 12, 13. I went to St Mirren.
That's what I was trying to get.
On trial at a few clubs. On trial at a few clubs like Partick Thistle. I had a trial at Morton as well, but I went to St Mirren and I just felt it was the right fit. And obviously, Davy was a very good coach to young players growing up. So I went there and loved it, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. And were you always based with your height as a central defender, or did you play other positions?
I was a centre mid when I first signed for St Mirren. So I was under 14s at the time. I was a centre midfield player. Actually, more of a kind of number 8, kind of hit the box guy. Mm-hmm. And then tell you, mate, unbelievable. Not anybody would ever believe that. So I know by your reaction, you're the same. But I was playing for under 17s one night, and Davy Longwell, we went down a couple of centre backs, and he just put me back in there, and then kind of for there, I kind of never looked back. Mm-hmm. I've obviously played full back and wing back as well, but predominantly played centre half most of my career. Aye.
Right. So with all these teams coming through the ranks, I mean, did you always have these sort of leadership qualities? Or?
Well, I was always a captain for young age. Davy Longwell made me captain of the 17s group when I was there, and that was my... Obviously, when we were younger, you went from 15s to 17s to 19s. So he made me captain of the 17s my second year. I wasn't the first year. Obviously, I was a younger one at that point. Mm-hmm. To Cyprus with the under-19 squad my first year. So I was like an under-17 still then. And we came back for that trip, and he decided to give me the captaincy of the 19s, which was... I couldn't believe it, to be fair. He just said my leadership skills, just what you're saying there, and the way I went about my business, how hard I worked off the pitch and on the pitch, and he was just impressed with the way I kind of went about, because we were over there for 3 weeks. So I think he kind of seen that maturity that I had for an early age and decided to give me the captaincy. And then from there, I've wore the armband at some point at every club I've been at. So it's obviously something that maybe people see in me. I'm not sure.
Sort of common influence.
Sean, see when you were at St Mirren,
Yeah.
was that full time then, or was it like no what's happening nowadays? That kids are just coming in at night?
No, it was full time, proper full time. Yeah, proper full time with the 19s. So I started getting into obviously I left school 5th year. St Mirren asked me to come in when I was in 4th year, but I just felt my grades weren't good enough to kind of leave school at that point. And I felt education was important. So I stayed an extra year, but any days that I had off, I went in full time with the kind of under 19s players. It was proper full time. It was, you were in at 8:30 in the morning. You didn't leave till 5 at night. You were there all day. It was gym sessions. It was training twice a day. It was non-stop. And to be fair, I think that gave me a very good grounding. The way that the clubs, the way the St Mirren kind of grounded the boys in terms of cleaning boots, cleaning change room, cleaning toilets, giving you that kind of, you're a fitter player, but you've still got to have morals. You've still got to try and work as well, because again, as I said, education's important, but learning stuff at home, cleaning up and stuff like that is always something that I've done at home. So I felt it was brilliant for me, and I think, I'll be honest, I think it's what's missing in teenagers now.
I was going to say that to you, that now you know yourself what it's like.
Yeah.
But I believe that was my best time in my career, was the YTS, because the boys you met, the jokes you done, you had so much laughing jokes. Like you're in at 8:30, you're no leaving. Sometimes on a Monday when you're playing reserve football, you're no leaving till maybe 9-10 o'clock because you've still got to change to clean.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
For me, going away playing snooker or that with the boys, that was what that I would say that 2 years was probably the best 2 years of my life in football. Like the kid going and all that kind of stuff.
See, on that point, Sean, you two lads can obviously answer this, but during the youth years, would you say you gave up, you sacrificed a lot?
Oh, massively. I felt like, obviously you were out, as Sean's saying, you were out all day, and then you were going home all right, you maybe going out with your pals, but you were sacrificing all the time. Like I hung about with an older group when I was younger, and they wanted to drink and they wanted to smoke and they wanted to go here, there and everywhere, and I was very much, no, I've got Fitbit in the morning. Do you know what I mean? That was always my approach. It always has been. I've never been that type. And I think once you get into the full-time environment, you can either go one way or go the other. And I think if you're committed to it, you'll stick with it. But some boys love I'm a full-time Fitbit player. I can go out on a Tuesday night, we're off Wednesday, and do you know what I mean? But obviously, it's important to do that when you're in full-time as well, because as Sean's saying, it becomes the best time of your life. You actually start learning more in terms of being about a big group, bonding with the boys, and I think that's why when I became a captain as well, like obviously as captains you've got to arrange nights out and you've got to do all these things. That's where I got good at that, was when I was younger, because I was like, right, boys, Mum will go on a day out, Mum will go on a night out, Mum will have a laugh, Mum will do this. As Sean's saying, go and play snooker, go and do something like, and I felt that was brilliant for young boys. But now they come in, it's train, go home, and you're just like, I don't think it's the same. I don't think they get the same value out of it.
We don't get the same schooling, Sean. It's what we did, because like you say, you touched on it. See, when you're doing your duties, it kind of sets you up for the real world if you don't make it. Because when I left at fourth year for my 2-year YTS, you had that was your time when you had to get your jobs, and then if you didn't make it after the 2 years, at least you had a foothold in the real world kind of thing. But like you say, nowadays the kids are coming in. I watch it. I'm at Hamilton, and I'm watching it. Kids are coming in, and then they're leaving. I'm thinking, you're leaving at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Unless you're something special and you should be playing first team football, you're playing first team football, you should be either in the gym, you should be out working. And even, it's like at Hamilton, that AstroTurf, it's not as if You're not allowed to go on it. When it was years ago, it was grass parks. No, you're not allowed to do that. You're up the gym or you're working the head of tennis. You're seeing things nowadays, and it feels as if the football owes them something. No, wait a minute, we've got to work for this.
Yeah.
We've got to make sure we're doing everything. Young boys should never leave the stadium until 5 o'clock.
Even if it's just asking about the club, is there anything else I can do about the club? Like help the kit man or something? Just put something back.
That was one of the best. That was one of the best jobs I had. Was for away games, you're packing the boots and you're sitting on a Friday afternoon in the kit room, and you had what a laugh you had with Alan McDonald. It was like you're always doing your duties in twos, and sitting there getting like John Spencer's boots ready for him, and you're shiting yourself just in case. It's his shinies are in. It's his shinies in. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there, and you had to go down and then set the
check all the hampers.
You had to set the kit up for the first team arriving, and then and it's a heavy sweat when you're thinking, oh my god, I can't see these. I can't see these fingers or these boots. And to be fair, like Sean's saying, with a lot of the time there was you had the experience in Gorham, you had Jed Brannan, these boys are like right experience, so you're shining yourself.
Yeah.
I've got a pair of boots I only wear for match day. So you're like, fuck, if I put his training boots in, and then it did happen to a couple of boys, and they went fucking through them.
Oh, aye. And that's the thing, Sean, like, I could tell you some stories, but maybe at St Mirren, like, my God, if you forgot boots or kit or goals or, like, you were shiting yourself, like, proper, oh my God, panicking. You knew that there was going to be something at the end of it. You were going to go out and get running. You were going to get a big fine. There was going to be something. And I don't think that fear's there with young boys now. I used to be shit scared of getting into the first team changing room.
Aye.
Players, young boys aren't like that now.
No.
They're very much like, I'll just wander in. We'd be like, kind of looking around the corner as the first team boys in and all that. Because you begin and they'd pelt you with stuff. And
it was, that's what you...
There's a difference of having confidence to having respect.
Aye. Yeah. I'll tell you, I tell you a story, touch on what Sean was saying there.
Right.
There was this one time that we were at Motherwell and we forgot the kit, we forgot bibs and sent cones. So it was wee Mickey Weir was the coach at the time, and we trained down at DL Park, so we'd get changed at Motherwell, travel to DL Park in the bus, and the stuff wasn't there, so Mickey had to go back again in the bus and get back down before the first team boys arrived, because we had to set up all the stuff. So we're touching on Sean, we know there's going to be a punishment. Now this was probably maybe August, September, maybe even October, and not a thing was said, there was no punishment, there was nothing. Then you get to December and it's fucking Baltic, and we Mickey would get to the bottom, just leaving the estate at DL Park, and then he would go like, right, Fagan, Farling, Wilson, out you get, and we had to run back for the full month of December in the snow and the fucking freezing. You've just trained. It's either pissing down the rain. Your kit is all soaking, and you had to run through DL Park all the way through to the stadium, and that was your punishment.
Oh Christ! Aye. What was the craziest? First of all, hiya, Sleepyhead.
Mate, I do apologise.
Oh, fuck!
I'm getting my decking done, and I completely lost track of time. Hi, Seano. How you doing, big man?
How you doing, mate? All right?
Aye, good, mate. Good, mate.
Good.
Wait a minute, Sean. Is this no the second time this bugger's been late?
It wasn't fucking you fagging anyway.
Hey, what time's this come on?
I do apologise, pal. I do apologise.
So, Big Sean still not had his dinner yet.
Sorry, my internet's playing up.
I can know, don't worry about it. Jason and I have experienced that before, the last 2 weeks, haven't we, mate?
I'm sorry to get again.
If you need a wee bit of money to put in the meter, I'll help you.
Right, neighbour. See, obviously, the threes have been running academies. What's the sort of craziest initiation that you've either received or you've seen done?
Oh,
I seen one the other night.
Did you?
Aye. Under 16s. Sean, was it?
Who's that?
The animal.
Animal? I don't want to know. I'm cutting this off.
The animals.
I don't know, mate.
Was it 2 touch you're doing?
Oh, aye. 2 touch for the animals. Aye.
I don't mind to know if it involves animals.
No, it's very straightforward. So you get 2 touch, you get in a circle, and then if you lose, you've got 2 lives. If you lose a life, obviously, then you go down to lose another life. So you would do like ones with like kind of 3 syllables, like dog, cat, cow. So after the lives, they would have to get down on their hands and knees and make the noise of that animal. That's a one I've done for a long time, to be fair.
What about you, Jace?
Nah, just
The usual standing in a chair to sing.
standing in a chair with a teaspoon in your hand, getting them to sing. It's just I think it's the old school way.
Aye.
That's
Aye.
Because I've seen a few of your video clips showing where you've been away with the team and the new players at the hotel before you go, or the rooms before you go, getting the players up to singing and stuff like that. Some of them are no bad, but some of them are horrendous.
Some of them are terrible. I think it's important. I think, obviously, as I said, me and Sean were talking earlier about that kind of grounding and getting used to your teammates and stuff when you're younger. I think the singing the song and getting a wee bit uncomfortable. I think it's important to be uncomfortable in front of your teammates. And that's something that I've always been big on. We done it recently at Stenhouse Muir as well. So, again, it's one of these things. It's just an icebreaker. It becomes a laugh. Obviously, if you get guys that are good, you've got guys that are terrible, you've got guys that are all right. So,
would you sing, Sean?
Yep,
I've got a couple up my locker, Jace.
Oh man.
Robbie Williams' Angels is one of them. Until I get to that high pitch bit, and then I decide to write, lads, that's me done.
The Righteous Brothers are then like you've got that loving feeling around.
What a song that is! What a song that is! That was our every song towards the end of the season. Follow Me, Uncle Cracker's another one. That's another one I've produced in the past.
Right, curveball time.
We used to do it a lot at Livingston. We done it on a.
Oh, you away.
Froze. What's happening with the beard, Sean? What we're doing here with the beard?
Yeah, be back.
I know. The old wife turned around and says, you better get rid of this now. So you better be going for a wee shave and a haircut. So, not much left of the fucking top.
Copy me, pal.
I'm getting there. There's no out of choice, I'll tell you.
That was back, Sean.
I think so.
No,
that's us back.
This is a nightmare.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We've all been there. Except for Sean, I think he's wired up to. You get Virgin or something?
You are a virgin.
Aye, very good. Arsehole. Right, Sean. Question relate. Pick a number 1 to 10.
5.
5.
Big centre half. Big centre half.
Oh. Right.
It's my number.
If you had a wishing lamp, what would your 3 wishes be and why?
Oof.
It's a number 5.
Wowzers.
In
terms of what? In life,
anything at all.
Anything
at all. You pick.
To play for Celtic.
Right.
Sorry, Peter.
Fair dues. Fair dues.
Get in there!
Fair dues.
Get it right up, yeah!
Run the hoops. I think that's the wishes of all 3s. Hey, Jason. I've seen your birthday cakes.
Listen, just remember, I'm the only one out of the 4 who supports our local team. I will support Motherwell, right? Okay. Dragon.
Peter, sorry, Jason. Coming from View Park, I was closer to Parkhead than I was Motherwell.
No, you weren't.
Local team.
No, you weren't. Shut up, faggot. Honestly. You're a disgrace, son. You're a disgrace.
I see my name like Sean Michael Patrick Fagan. I was going nowhere else.
Well, Sean, I can join you in that with Sean Paul Crighton. I didn't really have an option.
You never had an option either.
Because that's what I was going to ask you. What year or how old were you when you gave up your Rangers season ticket?
Hope you're not talking to me there.
I was talking to Jason.
That's all right then.
Right, so your 3 wishes, played for Celtic. What's
Right,
the
so
other
play
2?
for Celtic.
Sean, go let me ask a quick question here, right?
Aye, batter it.
So I put something on Twitter a couple of days ago. The game that you played against Celtic. What was it like to be, obviously, with your time at Airdrie, playing, was it 50,000 then?
It was about 40
night.
odd thousand, yeah.
What was that whole
It was
experience
incredible,
like for you?
I must admit.
Sean, was it at night or was it during the day?
I think it was a night game, was it no?
Sean,
Sorry, Jace, you cut off there, mate.
Sean, was it a night game or was it during the day?
The night
They're
game.
the best games. They're the best games you play.
Yeah.
Aye.
The
I
night
always
game.
love playing at Parkhead in a night game.
It was a night game about, I think it was 5:05, the kickoff. It was on Premier Sports. And because it was a nighttime game, obviously Celtic could just get the light show fitted.
Were they disco lights?
Disco lights.
Aye, that, honestly, that made it even better. It made it like just a more of a kind of Champions League feel kind of experience, do you know what I mean? And obviously walking out next to Scott Brown as captain of Airdrie and him a captain of Celtic. Don't get me wrong, I say walk out next to him, he just charged right in front of me, wasn't giving a shit about me, just went like that. I'm out. It was unbelievable, and to be fair, we actually done quite well in the game.
Yeah.
But I bet it was different
And then-
with you after the game, though. I bet it was different with you after the game.
What's that?
Scott Brown. I bet it was totally different to you.
The players, yeah.
Because I think all you players play the professional game at the highest level. You've got that sort of blinkers
Guys, I'm going
on.
to try and move.
Aye. I mean, like Sean, Jason, like Sean, Jason, you have played the game. I've never been good enough to play at that any sort of level. I take it when you go in that tunnel and just come out, you've got that focus where everything else is just not even in your vision. You've got a job to do.
To be fair, you have to think about what your roles are first 15 minutes, especially if you're playing top teams like Celtic and Rangers. Because going back years gone past, if you walked away with a 5-0 defeat at Ibrox or Parkhead, you were doing well back in the day. But you had your jobs to do, and you had 15 minutes, first 15 minutes, lay a marker. Then if you're still in a game, just do it every 15 minutes. And that's how the way we were brought up. And it's a case, you've got your role, you've got your duties to do it, in corners, at free kicks. So you had just to make sure you were switched on. So what is nowadays when you see them in the tunnel and cuddling each other and all that, that's the game's changed now. It's too friendly, it's too risky. They've took the art of tackling out the game now as well. As you've seen last night with the boys sending off. It's never a sending off, it's a follow through, and he's caught him. How many times have you seen boys kick the ball and then smash right into the boys' studs underneath it because they're trying to block it, and it was never a foul. So the game.
Are you talking about that Ukraine tackle?
Aye. I mean, you think that's a sending off?
I personally thought initially, aye. I thought it could have snapped the guy's leg.
He's kicked the ball and then he's follow through it. He's caught him.
Peter, you showed footage of me earlier having a couple of tackles where I've won the ball and then clean through. That because you make contact with the ball first. I've always been a believer that you make contact with the ball first. Your follow through, as long as it's not high, your follow through will take you wherever you're going to go. But you need to
it's your momentum, innit? So
it's your momentum.
You can't stop your momentum if you
No.
get it.
I had a sending off for Airdrie last year against Partick Thistle, and I've overran the ball slightly, but again I've smashed through the ball and then through the boy after it. It was a straight red card. But see, when you watch it back that many times, you're thinking maybe 10 years ago that was never a sending off.
Yeah.
But because of the force, they says it. What was in the report? excessive force. And I'm like, how else are you meant to tackle? If you don't tackle with force, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. You need to be fully committed.
Can I just say one thing, right? See, since Big Sean's moved, and that glow round his face and everything now, he looks even better now, doesn't he?
He's a handsome big bugger, isn't he?
He's done, isn't he?
Big man. I think the big man is actually trying to get, see that glow, the Glasgow, the telly thing?
He's trying to audition for that, is he? With that Brian Matthews.
You should see me, I've got a golfer's tan, I'm sitting here with a face and then all the white.
Oh, don't mention that. Sean would have got that the night if he stayed out.
I actually think his missus went away and put all the lights on in the living room for him, and he was a wee bit running late, so he's like, I'll just go upstairs and come back down. He's got the spotlights on him and everything, man.
He wasn't training at all, he spent 2 hours in the sunbed.
That's it.
Right, so you've only still only done one wish.
Right, okay. Right, so play for Celtic.
That's a bad one, but we'll let you have that.
That's it.
Wait, hang on. Pause that the new. Sean, have you died?
I'm waiting.
Jesus Christ!
I'm going to heaven now.
Looks like an angel.
I'm low.
Fucking ugliest angel ever.
It should be fucking good.
Just looking at it, I thought, what the hell?
Back in the bed.
Sorry,
again.
Sean.
Right.
Sorry, Sean.
That's all right, mate. So play for Celtic. I'd love to have a big mansion in a house. I've always been like that. I love tidiness. So I'd love for my half of the house to be tidy, and then everybody else, the missus and the Wayne, can do what they want on that side of the house. And probably just off the top of my head,
Content.
have a Ferrari. There you go. Have a Ferrari.
What would yours be, Sean?
I've got everything.
Oh, what an answer. What an answer.
So actually, that's
funny little girl. I've got a
take it.
Yeah.
No, that means that just means that's a quick answer because I want a pint. Shut up and get on with it.
I would love to have a fucking pint now. That's one of
the. Jason, well, matter. What's yours? Have you got 3, mate?
No, to be on this fucking podcast anyway. There's that. Carry on, Peter. I want to know. By the way, have we done the 1 to 5 on the wrestling? No, carry on yet.
No. Well, that was one of the questions. I changed a couple of questions.
Oh, right. Okay.
I threw a couple of curveballs in there. So, going back to your career, obviously you've been playing away at Montrose, Elgin, Morton. When you were growing up, going through the playing, who was your idol? Who did you look up to?
Roy Keane was my kind of main one. I was a big Manchester United fan as well as Celtic. And Roy Keane was my kind of main. Obviously, when I started, I was a centre midfield player. So I just loved his attitude. He's kind of, again, what we were talking about earlier, the qualities he had as a captain, the leadership skills. You knew that if you were going to war, he would go with you. And then kind of growing up a wee bit older in terms of centre-half-wise, my favourite was always Vidic. I felt him and Rio Ferdinand were just a cut above everybody else. But Vidic was just my favourite because I felt like myself, very aggressive, was quite quick. But Rio was the one who would get on the ball and pass. And that was my kind of 2 main ones growing up. Obviously, being a Celtic fan, Henrik Larsson was a big part of my life and growing up, and I went in a strikers masterclass thing with him, which was unbelievable. A couple of years ago through the SFA, and it was amazing to meet him as well and talk about his career and how he became the player he was. And that's probably the best thing I've been at in terms of being a coach. Obviously, when I get into the coaching side, that it was such an insight to how a top player goes about his business. But that would be my kind of 3 main ones, yeah.
The 3 of you could answer this. See, when you've been doing your coaching badges, has there been anybody on the course that you've been in total awe of?
I was pissed half the time.
Like you saying Sean Henry Larson when you were doing one of your badges.
Yeah. For me, I would have said the boy Andre Villas-Boas.
Yes.
I had him on my. I was in my. Well, actually, I was a runner. When we were at St Mirren, Davy Longwell used to say to us all the time, "I want you to come down, be the runners of the course." And I was under 19s at the time, and it was like our kind of mini pre-season. So we would get down to Largs, and obviously all the coaches from all over the world, etc., would take us for the kind of sessions that we're doing.
Right.
And Villas-Boas was one of them, and he was unbelievable.
What about you two?
To be fair, my squad, they were just like your normal running mill guys. There wasn't any superstars. In fact, Leon Osman for Everton, he came up, but it's like you're talking about, and James McFadden was there as well, Faddy. But you're talking about they were just one of the boys. It wasn't that we're better than you or anything like that. It was just, and you're part of the group. They were part of the group that you're in. So you've got a guy from Aberdeen who's a mechanic in the same group, and nobody was ever treated differently. So for me, for my B licence, it was a case of everybody was just a normal guy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you see like Sean, obviously the courses, some of the sort of professional managers come and do them and stuff like that. And that's why I was just wondering, any of these like Villas-Boas and that.
I go on the now, like obviously I've just started working with Boozy at Hamilton. I was in my B licence with Boozy, and I thought he was unbelievable as a coach. And then obviously I'm getting a chance to work with him now, and already over this week I've learned bits and bobs from him, and it's. I think as a coach and as a player, you're always learning. Nobody knows it all, no matter who you are. No matter whether you're Sir Alex Ferguson or you're just starting off, you're always adapting to the times and you're learning new stuff. And I think that's important as a coach, not to be arrogant and just take everything in your stride. And like there's Sean saying about Leon Osman, he was in my group for A licence as well. He was brilliant, such a nice guy. And I don't think you would get on as a coach having an ego on these courses either, because the guys wouldn't adapt to you.
Aye. See the guys that you played with, your ex-teammates, who would you say would be the craziest and the sort of pranks that you used to get up to?
Oh, I've had a few. I
mean, obviously you worked with this dafty at Morton, Jason.
Well, Jason actually, obviously, we never worked together.
No, never worked together.
Were you at the 15s, Jason, or the 16s or something when Sean was there?
Sean had just left.
I just left.
All right, sorry. I
wrong. You were wrong.
Again. It's not often I'm right.
If there was any crossover, it would have been Airdrie.
Aye.
That would have been it. But again, there wasn't really any Sean, wasn't there? There was nothing. You were always the first team, and I was 18s. But it was, if anything, I would be working more with Jazz.
Aye. With the kind of reserve side. Yeah.
But I tell you, just to answer your question, Peter, when I was on the A-way, and I tell you, I felt quite sorry for him a wee bit. Dan Fletcher was probably was on with us. We guys like Jamie Mackey, Fitzy was in our group. Fitzy did really well.
Matt Fitzpatrick, aye.
And Dougie Emery was in our group. And Richie Foster. He was a bit hard work, to be honest. But I really felt sorry for Dan Fletcher, because everybody the first day just wanted to get photos from him. He only turned up for one day.
He had enough.
He only turned up for one day, and he probably went, I'll probably get it done at the pub.
Aye.
Well, everybody done their 10 days, and then whatever it was, he only done the one day.
Obviously, with these guys and the profile they've got, it can be hard. Do you know what I mean? Like I need to laugh like whenever people ask me about my A licence down in Largs, like the full time we were there, it rained. The full 10 days, well, 9 days, whatever it was, it rained every day. And I had Manish and Costinha, who were obviously Champions League winners with Porto, played in the World Cup, and I'm trying to tell these guys, I think I must have been at Elgin City or something like that at the time. I was only young when I was Livingston. I was at Livingston. And I'm trying to tell these guys to, right, I need you in this position, I need you to do that. It's quite daunting when you're thinking these guys are but they were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. They wanted to take everything on board. They loved your ideas. They would feed off you. And obviously, again, Dan Fletcher's a big profile, but guys like him, even on my course, were absolutely brilliant. But if it's going to kind of become, right, it's all about Dan Fletcher, that's what he won't want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think they're all the same. They want it to be an inclusion.
Chris Burke was like that, by the way. He was on the money, actually. One of the guys who coached was at Airdrie, wee guy, Chris Ferguson. He was on the Airways as well, but he and Chris Burke done the B licence together.
Yeah.
And what Faggy was talking about there was about guys just being gen up guys.
Aye.
I mean, because now you see it yourself, they go in their wee groups and they sit there for their lunch and whatever. Burkey wasn't giving a toy.
No.
It was just great. I mean,
Jason, I've just finished a course with Burkey there. We done a football management course together just there, and Burkey was brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. And just such an honest guy. He would text you and ask you for ideas, and again, you'd bounce things off him and all that. He was brilliant. And I'd never met Chris Burke before.
Yeah,
I went on this course with him, and to be fair, all the guys on the course were brilliant, but Burkey was just such a down-to-earth guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, what a career he's had, but he wouldn't ever, like, it's all about my career, and he was never like that. He was just such a nice guy, and I think that's important, because if you want to become a coach or a manager, you need to be approachable. You can't be just one of these standoff people. So I think that's important.
Yeah.
What club would you say you've had the most sort of enjoyment and success with?
Obviously, my time at Livingston, like, we were a different animal that year. We were League One. Big Hoppy and Davy Martindale had us regimented. We were bigger, stronger, fitter. We were just a different animal. Teams hated playing against us. In terms of success, I'd probably say that. I just felt we were so successful in how we went about our business every day. Like, we were doing stuff that Premier League clubs were doing, with the sports science side of it, and the gym work, and having GPS and having ice baths, cryotherapy. It was just a total different.
Even in League One?
Oh, aye. Yeah, we had it all in League One. And that's how I think you've seen Livingston progress through that. Martindale and Hoppy had the right idea for the club. They had, obviously, Davies behind the scenes, and he drove everything. And as you can see now, I mean, I think they finished in the top 6 in the Premier League this year. But that started back in League One when I signed for them, just by that sheer drive, and for the guys at the club, especially Davy. Do you know what I mean? He has a driving force behind a lot of it. And we were just, teams hated us. See, whenever you ask people who played against us, they just hated us. They were just like, oh my God, playing Livingston. And that was exactly what I would say to any team that I coached. That's what you want teams to think. Oh my God, I hate playing them. And that's exactly what we were. Obviously, my time at Morton, winning the league on the last day of the season was unbelievable. But in terms of success, most weeks would be Livingston. But for me, my time at Airdrie obviously been the longest spell of my career. I spent 3.5 seasons. Obviously, I had a spell before that. And to finish second that year there with the team that we had and stuff was like a real success story.
A good achievement.
I know we got to the playoff final and we ran out of steam. I don't know if any of you watched the game, but we just ran out of steam. But it was a great success to finish second, and I felt when I left Airdrie I could leave on a sort of high. getting the club to second. Obviously, I wanted to get them promoted, but I just felt we were always that wee bit short whenever I was there. Don't get me wrong, the year before, when COVID hit, I felt we were hitting form at the right time and we could have ended up winning the league. We had Raith Rovers to play, we had Falkirk to play, and obviously Falkirk didn't like playing us. And Raith, every game was 1-0, so it was close. So, like, you never know, but again, there's nothing you can do about that. But I would say Livingston in terms of ongoing success, but Airdrie would be up there as well, just because of the successful season we had.
How would you rate Ian Murray? Would you say he was one of the best managers you worked under?
I'd probably say he's quite different to some managers I've worked under. He had different approaches and that. He was very good on the training pitch. His training was very good. I think he took a lot of his training from kind of Norway and stuff, and he worked over there.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'd probably say the manager I learnt most off of in my career has probably been Jim Duffy.
Martin.
Jim was just information overload when it became, obviously for me it was brilliant. He was a centre half and he'd coached John Terry and stuff like that when he was younger, and the information he gave you as a defender was just small details that I would pass on now to young players. And David Hopkins' approach to winning League One was we could play football, but we could also be absolutely horrible to play against, and that was also a learning curve for me. So for me, I'd probably say David Hopkins, Jim Duffy, the guys I've probably learned most off of. But Ian Murray was good, like very good on the pitch, and had a wee bit different approach to what they had. They were kind of more old school. He's a wee bit more kind of up to date. But I've had some good managers over my times.
Because when I joined, obviously with me on the analysis side, when I joined Morton, I was told that Jim Duffy wasn't really into analysis stuff. It was only when JJ and Husty came on board that I got involved with the first team. But I got told so obviously I had the pleasure of working with you and Pat and Dale and all these sort of guys. But I had to ask a question on our Christmas night out. What was John Sutton thinking about? You're sitting there with the tin flute on. I'm sitting there with the tweed on. L boy's like an extra fucking Peaky Blinders. Paddy, he's sitting there with the bow tie.
Yeah.
And then John Sutton comes in with the hoodie and the jeans.
I know. Big Such is just that laid back. Just laid back. But no, Jim wasn't into the kind of analysis side of it as much as some managers are. He was very much... Jim was about structure. I mean, he was about basically, we've lost that game or won that game, it's in the bin now. I don't need to speak about it.
Right.
We move on to the next one. And that was Jim's approach. And I don't know if he's always been like that or whatever, but I wouldn't even say... We didn't really have a lot of... He would watch the games and stuff, he would get the tapes back, but he never done analysis with us. I think he valued the time on the pitch more. The
videos must have been entertainment with the two guys that videoed them.
Oh, what a laugh, honestly. Wow. Aye, what a laugh that was.
They've got two fans showing that video the games, and they're just two Morton fans, and it's fucking, on the Morton! And cursing and swearing and all sorts. Yeah. And this is for analysis. So that's why Warren spoke to me about doing the first team stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously my last season, as you both experienced, cutting costs and it just went to the wall, you know. But so going on to your coaching. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
It's not just your show, you know.
No, of course. I'm hoping you to jump in with questions. You're sitting there like two spears.
We can't get a chance to.
Put me to sleep, you can't.
You're an intimate mate with Big Sean. He's so pretty. He's so pretty.
Wow.
Sean.
Yes, mate.
What was the best away trip you done?
Best away trip?
In the lower leagues, no Celtic or Ibrox or anything like that.
Right, okay.
What was your best trip? You always say, that was a great trip, that.
See, to be honest, obviously I played with Elgin, right? And every trip was an away trip. I loved my time at Elgin because it was just such a laugh. See the travelling up. And we had like a Mercedes Vito van, like the big 9-seater thing.
Yep.
We used to meet in Glasgow and we would travel up stupid o'clock in the morning. We would go to Perth at the Tesco at Perth and get breakfast. And then we would all sit and have a giggle. And then one of the boys didn't drink. So on the way down the road, we used to just get a carry out in the van and just have an absolute giggle. It was brilliant, to be fair. I loved my time at Elgin. So I know it wasn't an away day, but we were away most weeks, you know what I mean? And
aye.
But Peterhead's up there, by the way.
Aye, that's my favourite. That's my favourite. See the grub afterwards, man. It's
unbelievable.
Dynamite.
And they put on a good spread.
You get a 3-course meal and it's quality.
Oh.
So Peterhead would definitely be up there for me in terms of away days. I just think the way they treat you at the club and that, they're such a nice club. And as I said, the grub's different class after a game. It's exactly what you need, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We went up for Boxing Day one year, actually. Where was I? I was maybe at Livingston. We went up Boxing Day. Livingston and Morton. And we had Christmas dinner after. Full works. It was like a 5-course dinner. It's unbelievable. We had Christmas dinner. Brilliant.
Bloody hell.
On another subject, Sean.
Yeah.
What's the best night out you've had? That's mentally been the one you think, oh, for fuck's sake, how we get away with stuff like that?
And we can't report it.
Oh God, this is a toss-up. A kind of night out last year with the RJ boys was incredible. We went in Newcastle last season and it was ridiculous, honestly. See the Sunday, that's the best bit. When you go away for the weekend with the boys, with the Fitbit team, the Sunday's always the best.
Because you go down on the Saturday in the bus after the game, and you're steaming by the time you get down there.
Yeah.
And you just kick on, and then when you wake up the Sunday, you've got the ones that's dying. Then you just kick on again, and then
absolutely.
For Super Sunday, you're starting to kick back into this game on again.
Sean, with the Sunday, I've done this every club. I've been a captain at most clubs, so I've made the kind of rule wherever I've been. If you don't get down for a certain time on a Sunday morning, you've got the 3-shot rule. So if you're not downstairs by a certain time, you must have 3 shots. And obviously you get to pick it, what shot it is. But I remember when we went to Dublin with Brecon, I had been to Dublin 3 seasons in a row. I had went with Livingston, then I went to Brecon, we went there, and then I went to Airdrie, my first year back at Airdrie, we went to Dublin, so it was 3 years in a row. But I'll never forget the time we were with Brecon, and the boy Isaac Lane, big striker,
right.
He 3-shot rule. I said to him, if you're not down the stair by 11 o'clock, you've got to take 3 shots. So obviously there was about 4 or 5 boys late. I remember the boy Chris O'Neill came down, had the apple Sears shots.
Aye.
Obviously they're no bother, right?
A shot, man.
Nah, juice. So that was no bother, right? But I says to them, as long as you take a shot, whatever. So Isaac's wandered down the stair, and I'm like, Isaac, you need to get your shots, mate. He's come up, I swear to God, he had 3 shots of straight vodka. And I was just like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, you said 3 shots. And I was like, no, but I didn't mean like kill yourself. You know what I mean? See by 2:30, now you come down the stair at just before 12 o'clock. By 2:30, he was gone.
Aye.
That was him. 3 shots of vodka. That's how it starts, you know what I mean?
Party over. What about you, Jason? You any questions?
Nah.
Put you on the spot.
Not for me.
Jason really wants to be here.
I'm just privileged to be in the company of such beauty.
Jason, we need a candle, mate. You need to get us a candle.
God, honestly, do you know what? I've looked at the chat. We've obviously got a wee WhatsApp chat, right?
Yeah.
And I swear to God, you see, this is the only thing, you've just said it, that's the only thing that's missing between you and Peter, right? we've got the table, we've got Sean's doing, Fagan's being, I've got this picture in my head now. Sean's actually
I know.
With the meal. I'll actually pour the wine into your lap. Honestly, we're starting to question Peter here. Is he really married?
That's it.
Is he really married?
No, I'm married. Happily. So, changing the subject, because I'm getting all embarrassed. Right, pick a number.
What's your wee costume go?
Not at all. Pick a number 1 to 10. Now, you picked number 5 the last time.
7.
8. Oh, she went with 8. That was your first number.
7. If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
Invisibility.
How about yours, Sean?
Just cause.
I done that one.
There's me.
I said invisible as well when I was came on the show and they gave me that one.
Yeah, there's no explanation for invisibility. That's it.
How about yours, Jace? Would you have one?
He's just happy being company beauty.
I'm just happy to be in the company of such beauty.
He's just dumbfounded.
I know that way you're looking at me there, Jace.
Do you know what? I'm looking at big Sean with the tan and that thing gone there, right? I'm looking at Sean Fagan, right? Thinking I'm in fucking heaven because this whole white background thing. I mean, I'm looking at Jurgen Klopp on another screen. It's just, I'm just overwhelmed.
Happy to be here.
Sean, I have to ask, see when you headed the ball, does your hair go to place?
Nope. Genuinely.
Peter was going to ask if it was all right. Sean, Peter was going to ask if it was all right for him just to fix it for you again.
Aye, absolutely, mate. Just give me the sweet.
These are a couple of ball bags.
Sean, see when you went to Livingston, was that the time when was it Lithgow went as well and Nicky Cadden went as well?
Yeah.
So that made it a nice wee transition going from Airdrie to Livingston, was it?
Aye, it was. It was great because obviously me and Alan formed a partnership at Airdrie, and we'd done really well at Airdrie together. And then it was actually David Hopkins phoned me, and he just said, "Listen, I'm wanting to sign you, but I also want to sign Alan. I want you to come as a partnership." And then he was kind of explaining who else he had there. Obviously, Craig Halkett. And then obviously Declan Gallagher was always coming back. So like he was like, that gives me good, can afford good centre halves that I could go to a back three. I could play. Obviously, he knew that I could get up and down the pitch. I was quite fit. So obviously later on in the season I went to wing back. And we were again, like if you see me playing wing back, you're just like, what's going on there? But again, you're thinking,
that's the worst position in the world.
Oh my God, Sean, I swear, I'll never forget the conversation. He brought me into the office and he says to me, we're going to Peterhead away actually. This was in, it was January time, I think. And he says to me, we're going to go, I want you to play right back. And I was like, right, okay. So he had me at right back, you had Craig Halkett, Declan Gallagher and Alan Lithgow at left back. So it was the biggest back four you've probably ever seen in your life. So I was like, right, okay. Big Ronnie McAllister was up top for Peterhead, and he was just like, this is a nightmare because the 4As were just obviously massive.
Yeah.
It was hard for him to get in the ball, and obviously Peterhead tried to get the ball at him quite a lot, and he just hated it. But we won the game. Then he brought me into the office on the Monday and he says, Sean, I'm thinking of playing a back three this weekend and I want you to play wing back. But you need to graft off the pitch. This is something that I'm thinking about for the next few weeks. Obviously, I'm a big guy. You know what I mean? 14 stone and 6'3", and he was like, I need you to get trimmer. I need you to get... And I'm like, he's like, you're obviously quick, but we need you to be light so you can get up and down the pitch. And I was like, oh my God. So for 10 weeks, I was on a pure strict diet and got my body fat down to like 6% body fat. I was so thin, and I was like, right, okay, I'll do what you need me to do. Do you know what I mean? Just to play.
I hear what you're saying, Sean. I hear what you're saying. Fucking 96.
But it was one of the ones that I just had to go on with. If I wanted to play in a team, that's where he was going to play me. We obviously had a very good backline. And he was like, right, if you want to play, that's where I'm going to play. And that was it, really. So I had to just adapt, and I done that.
So now you've just signed for Stenhousemuir.
Yep.
Working with Swifty.
Yep.
How are you getting on with him?
Brilliant. Very, very good. It's been a great start. We've played 4 friendlies already. And I've played 4 90 minutes. So you can imagine I'm absolutely knackered. But because I only finished, like, obviously the end of end of May, we played the playoff final, and then within a week and a half I was back at Stenhousemuir, back training again. So it's been a quick turnaround. But I met with Swifty about maybe 3-4 weeks before the end of the season with Ergie. And he was brilliant. I just loved his vision for the club and the way that they want to go about stuff, and he seemed like a very nice guy. I'd never met him before.
I worked with him for maybe BSC for a season.
Yeah. He's very good.
Good
very
guy.
Good. Lovely guy.
The players liked him.
Yeah, that's all I've heard. Players liked him, obviously. Good coach. And he's actually been good to me in terms of, obviously, he knows that I coach and stuff, and he's like asked to bounce stuff off of me and that as well. The kind of recruitment side, he was asking me what do I think of this player and that player, and obviously me being in the lower leagues, I've kind of known the players that are about. So it's been great. I'm loving it so far, and hopefully we can go and have a successful season.
John, do you want to put a part of your contract?
Yeah.
Was it you had to be captain?
No. No. It met me, as I said, 3-4 weeks before the end of the season. I was surprised, to be honest. Obviously, he had players there. The boy Callum Tatton was the captain at Steny last year, and for all accounts done really well. But he wanted to leave for whatever reason, I don't know. But the manager had said to me that I didn't know that Callum was leaving. The manager just said to me, listen, I've done my homework, and I would like you to be club captain when you come in. And I was like, all right. I was very, like, as Jason is, very overwhelmed. No, I just felt what they were saying to me was great. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I have been a captain, so I've got experience in that field. And he wanted me to do it the way that I want to do it in the changing room, make sure the standards are high, and make sure that our fine list is good, and we kind of maintain those high standards throughout the season. And that's something I've always did as a player and as a coach. I've always tried to have high standards and make sure that the boys are ready for whatever challenge comes across. So it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant with me. So he made me captain without me really saying anything. So it was good.
See, as well, like if you're looking at it from like myself, from an outsider in, it's actually a wee stroke he's put there, because he knows obviously you've been a captain elsewhere, you're doing your coaching. This is probably one of his first senior jobs.
Yeah,
and he's looking to get a lot of experience round about him, and have you as an ally in the changing room, and use you because you're coaching as well and bounce ideas, and it kind of gives you the wee kind of relationship there straight away.
Oh, absolutely, Sean. That is the way it's been, and obviously with some managers before, like, you maybe not have that kind of relationship. And I think as you say, I think he has been quite clever in the sense that he knows that I've been about the lower leagues. It's his first job, as you said, and he's like, right, can I lean on this guy to help me? And he's obviously spoke to people about, do you know what I mean? I'm going to help him as much as I can. That's my job as captain, and at any club that I've been at, is to help the manager get to that next step. And hopefully, if I do well for him, then he might consider me as a coach later on down the line for him, wherever he may go, or at Steny or whatever. And that's, as we all are, you get to know people. Do you know what I mean? And it's all about know-how sometimes, and who you know. But the relationship started off really well, and hopefully it can develop into something better.
What's the next stage for you, Sean, after you finish playing football? Is it the plans to be in management, or are you quite happy to stay in the academy stuff for now and then see what happens for there?
I think everybody asks me that kind of question, Jason, just because the way I am in terms of the coaching. Obviously, I've been coaching since I was like 15, and then I started coaching properly with the Morton's Academy at the age of 20. Taking an under 15 side, and I've been coaching since. So, and as I said, I've learned so many different things and done all the badges and have the different experiences and stuff. But for me, I just take it as it comes now. I don't know when I'll stop playing. I'm obviously still fit and still ready to go with the playing side of it. But the more coaching I'm doing, obviously I went into Hamilton 2 years ago and absolutely love it. It's such a great club to work for. The kids are, do you know what I mean? They're definitely a different level. And like the setup's good, the environment's good, and again, obviously just been put in with the under 18 side is great for me as well, because it's another wee push. Obviously I had the 18s at Morton, I had the reserves at Morton with in my spell there as well, and then working alongside John Sutton. So again, I've had those experiences, so I've taken everything I can for each one. But I would love to be a manager later on. I don't think I need to think about that right now. I think it's important to just think about what I'm doing at the moment, and that's obviously at Hamilton working with the 16s and the 18s, and then, as I said, I'm still doing that wee bit with the manager at Steny, and I still work at Holyrood in a performance school set up as well. I'm only in there a couple of days a week, but again, I wanted to keep myself in there because I love working with kids in terms of making them better, and I've seen you've seen the fruits of it now, the likes of Nathan Patterson and stuff like that. They were the first kind of group that I had at Holyrood when I went in with Brian McLaughlin. And to see them progress, young Stephen Kelly and Big Lewis Mayo and all these players, see them progress is brilliant. Obviously, Billy Gilmore was at a different school than what I was, but I love that side of it. So until I can get into management, then I'll continue to do the kind of youth side of it. And again, I've obviously had a stint at Morton doing the kind of head of youth stuff for a year or a year and a half, and started to get my ideas in, and it was going really well. But as Peter mentioned earlier, the clubs had to make cuts, and unfortunately I was one of them. But I loved that side of it as well. So I don't really know. I've got obviously good experience in the field now of football coaching, so I'll just see where it kind of takes me.
I mean, sorry, Jason, on you go.
I was just saying, Eddie's a top guy, isn't he?
Who?
Brian.
Aye. Brilliant. By the way, one of the best coaches I've worked with. See, we obviously had small numbers at a performance school because you're not working with big, large numbers. It's all about that individual player, and some of the stuff I learned off of him was working with small numbers was really, really good, and position specific stuff and all that. For obviously you can put on a drill, a passing drill, or you can put on a bit. It was more about the positional stuff within having small numbers that I was thinking, God, that I've never done anything like that. So I've learned a lot from him as well, and obviously Joe McBride's in there now. So again, as I keep saying, you learn off everybody. Like Sean, like last year with the pressing side that Sean wouldn't mind used on the press in the academy and all that. Like again, that's something that I never ever looked at until these guys went, right, this is the way we want to do things. And again, you're always learning. As I said earlier, you're always learning, and I think it's important to always keep learning and not be this guy, oh, I know it all, because you don't, no matter who you are, as I said. So
it's with the academy when we were at Morton. I mean, I thought they had some really, really good players like Lewis McGrattan and Sean Rogers and stuff.
Yeah.
And you must take a lot of pride when you've just mentioned Stevie Kelly, and I've worked with Halkett and Liam Kelly and stuff like that when we were with Rangers. I mean, is there anybody in the pipeline at Hamilton Accies that you would think that they've got a good future?
Well, we've actually got one now who, he played for the first team a day in a bounce game, a boy Chris McGinn. He's a left back, and Sean, how quick is he?
Aye, mate. Honestly, he's frightening. But what about him dribbling?
Aye.
How awkward is he when he dribbles?
Aye. It's crazy.
Because he started when he was younger, and I had him. He started off as a left winger,
yeah.
And then we put him back the way because it's better to see him
travelling on the ball. Yeah.
Aye, and seeing the game in front of him.
Yeah.
And then when he was running and going to try pass players, he's dribbling with his right foot.
Aye.
He dribbles with his right foot, and he's still going outside the players.
It's incredible.
So awkward. You can't get anywhere near him.
No. And that's the thing. Like, he done, for all accounts, he done really well in the bounce game today. Now he's only 15. He's an 05. Do you know what I mean? So he's streets ahead in terms of.
He's been playing up for a few years, Sean, as well.
Aye, exactly.
To make him a better player because it was too easy for him. And
yeah.
I think he actually played up towards the end when I had him. And it's a case of these games are too easy for him. He's just coasting it now. And it's like he's ran the length of the park one day and scored. And he's picked the ball at left back and he's just ran past folk for fun. So it's no development with him. So he had Big Jaws had actually put him up the year above at the time, and then even at that he was still standing out.
Aye. Well, he's obviously he'll play for the 18s this year most of the games anyway. Me and Boozy actually spoke about him earlier, but for him to be in that environment every day, training with the first team, it's just going to make him a better player. Do you know what I mean? And obviously they'll push him and stuff. But I remember my first game, Sean. Actually, you were there. They played Rangers, do you mind, at home.
Aye.
And he was playing against the big boy that was playing wide for them, and it was just a great battle between the two of them. But Chrissy came out and taught, like he was just kind of busy getting by him, putting crosses in.
And he's got a wee bit of nastiness in him as well, Sean.
What's that?
That wee bit of digging nastiness in him as well.
Yeah.
If he feels as if he's getting a wee bit run over, you'll see him doing rash things, but like leaving a marker on it and just saying, you know what, I'm not going to be like taking for a mug. He's got
Sean,
as well.
I think you've got to have that as a player. I think you've got to, no matter like who you are.
It's like what you said earlier on, though. Kids nowadays haven't got that.
No, you don't have that edge.
So, going back to what we were talking about at the start of the programme, it was a case of it's good to see kids like Chrissy. It's got that wee bit because for every one of Chrissy, there's probably about 10 to 15 that doesn't mean much to them. They're only there because I'm at a Celtic or I'm at Rangers. My mum and dad love it. The fact I'm at a pro elite team, all this nonsense. When you look at the wee Chrissy, and he's just getting fucked in about it and wants to learn and wants to do well because he wants to be a football player. There's too many boys nowadays that are kidding themselves on if they want to be a football player or not.
Well, Sean, I try and say to the boys all the time, like, obviously we've been there, do you know what I mean? And what I say to them, lads, I've been in your situation. There is no better job in the world than being a football player. But you've got to treat it like that. Obviously, I've not been as fortunate as most football players, but I've managed to make a half-decent career because I worked so hard. No manager, coach or player or whatever could ever turn around and say Sean Crighton didn't work hard enough. That would just be lies. But I've never had the talent of some boys that maybe had the talent, do you know what I mean? So I had to make sure that I worked that bit extra hard. But that's what they've got to do. They've got to realise, by the way, what a job I'm going to have, go to fit every day. It's incredible. Do you know what I mean? And if that's what you love, then I feel as if the love of the game's not there anymore compared to what it was when we were younger. And I hope that you start to see it again. But only time will tell.
I think, was it last week you and I mentioned that, Jason, about the time I went away with Jerry Britton in the select squad, and we were talking to one of the coaches of Dundee United, and he was training his under-15s, and he says they stopped him for a water break, and they said, look here at the under-10s. When was the last time you enjoyed your football like that?
Yeah.
But football, well, you'll know more than I do. It can be complicated or it could be easy. But it's got so many different elements to it, where it's the player's attitude, the timing. I mean, you said there you might have known the right skills. I think you do. I think it might have just not been at the right place at the right time, or luck or whatever. I mean, all you needed was maybe a scout watching one of your games, and then all of a sudden your career path went down a different road. You just don't know.
Well, that's it. Like, when I was at Morton, we played Rotherham in a pre-season friendly, and it was a big boy Ravel that went to Cardiff, mine, big striker.
Aye.
I had a very, very good game against him that day. We get beat 1-0, but I had a good game, and it was actually, that was the first time I'd been contacted for like agents and stuff like that. I had an agent when I was younger, but it didn't work out. So I got an agent, as I said, I was 24 when I was at Morton, and the guy phoned me, and he's been my agent since that day. And it's not worked out for him in terms of, obviously, he thought, by the way, he's captain at Morton, he's 24, I could maybe get him a move, or obviously I played really well against the boy Ravel, but it didn't work out for him. But he stood by me in a sense, like, obviously I played in the lower leagues in Scotland, and he's never ever went, I'm not interested, do you know what I mean? It was great for me that way. But that was, as you're saying, it sometimes it's that kind of luck, or that lucky break that you need, and I've seen it happen to many players over the years. So,
do you think that's maybe just a problem that younger players have got now? When they get to that 14, 15, 16 age, they're starting to get noticed, they're starting to get looked at, and then the agents start knocking at the doors. And I think that's maybe a deterrent that clubs will have when they hear, right, you need to talk to his agent. What do you think, Sean?
Aye, Jason, see, for me, mate, I'll be honest, I think it, as much as it's a footballing thing, right, I think it's a society switch over the last 10 years. I don't think kids are built the same anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think they get the grounding that, obviously, as I mentioned earlier to the guys, like, I had such a good grounding at St Mirren as a kid, and obviously my dad and stuff like that, my mum, my dad, and my family and that gave me a right good grounding. My dad's always been very, very tough on me, and I felt, obviously at the time, you're like, God's sake, but you think about back over the years, and you go, do you know, it was actually the right way to go about it. I feel as if kids are mollycoddled now. I don't think they get the same treatment anymore. As I say that, 8 till 5, you were in at St Mirren, you were wiping bird shite off seats, you were fucking cleaning toilets, it's not what you want to be doing, but that's what you had to do to become a fitter player. See, if you were shite at that at St Mirren, like doing your duties, and you would get left behind. Because you had to have that grounding. I remember when I was at St Mirren, my first year, I'd done 2 players' boots, and then by the end of my second year, I had done 2 players' boots and the staff. So I had Gus McPherson, Stuart Balmer, Paul Mathers, and Andy Millen, because I was the best at the boots, but they were like, we want our boots like that. But I had to do that every day and make sure that their boots were like that every day. And I was like, oh my God. So I'd get in at 7:30 just to make sure I need their boots clean. I need to make sure that they're all right. And again, people will go like, Sean, you're off your head. But that's what you had to do.
The sacrifice you done, wasn't it? Yeah.
Aye. As we mentioned earlier.
Fagin had that on a Saturday afternoon as well, when everybody was playing football at Fir Park. He would be with Sean. He's doing this one's boots for Monday, right, Sean?
Aye, that's Saturday, 3 o'clock. He's talking about Sean Shive, a prick.
You're not on the tough with the boots on, mate.
But that's where you guys come into play. I would think we not try to lead the boys astray, but try to give them an honest advice.
But yeah, it's hard now because you're not, like Sean's saying, and we spoke about it before Jason came on. Boys are now, like Sean said, mollycoddled, and the parents are feeding them mental things in their head, telling them they're going to be the best player ever. The clubs now are not giving them duties to do. They're not allowed to do this, they're not allowed to do that because of legal reasons, whatever nonsense that is now. And they just believe their own hype now.
Yeah, 100%.
It's hard for coaches to try and install. We had a coaches meeting. How do you give them desire? How do you give them hunger? You can't.
No, you have to do that yourself.
No, and that's it. That's the biggest thing. Obviously, as Sean's saying, we had that meeting, and like obviously over the years, as I said earlier, you learn experiences in terms of, right, like Peter, you probably seen me coach at Morton as well, and Sean's obviously seen me coach at Morton. Everything must be a competition, no matter what it is. If it's possession, if it's a passing drill, or like try and have a bit of competition and everything. Because don't get me wrong, when I was younger, you didn't have that, but you need to have that now because that's the way kids are built now.
I seen that myself when you and Pat brought me on a couple of occasions to video the training sessions when you were going through your badges, and I really seen a different light to it, to obviously when watching you on the touchline and doing your coaching. So with regards to your role back to Morton with the head of youth, have you took a lot of these skills to where you are now with Hamilton Accies?
To an extent, obviously, because I kind of oversee the 13s to the 18s when I was at Morton. That was my kind of role, to go down and see the coaches and stuff like that, the other age groups. And obviously, that's different at Hamilton. I'm in charge of it's a guy, me and Dave Mackay take the 16s. And then obviously I'm with Boozy at the 18s now. And it's not much overseeing. It's more, obviously, I'll go in and coach, and Dave will go in and coach, and me, like Boozy will go in and I'll go in. And again, it was a weird transition for me, going from a head of youth to going back to just being an academy coach, and just kind of doing that job. But again, I was going to a better level, and that's something that I took in my stride as well. I was thinking, Sean, you can't think, like, as I said earlier, you can't become too arrogant with it and go, oh, I've done that. It's not about that. I went to a club where it's a different level, it's a higher level, it's a better standard, and it was going to make me better as a coach, because I'm going to be working, again, as I said, better coaches, better players, better facilities. So
more personal demands on you.
Do you know what I mean? Obviously, when I was head of youth at Morton, I loved it because I had that responsibility. And Dale kind of said to me, this is your kind of area, I want you to deal with this. And I had literally had my coaches meeting 2 weeks before I'd get let go. I had everything in place the way I wanted it, the standards, what I wanted sessions put in, I wanted this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then I get the phone call and I'm like, it was a bit of a shot in the arm, to be honest, you know what I mean?
It was Warren that told me.
When I spoke to Gio and I went into Hamilton.
Nice.
Well, it wasn't. Dale told me, and then I went into Capello, and it was a guy, Dave McKinnon, that obviously was calling the shots with the club at the time. Mm-hmm. He couldn't even look at me, and I thought I wasn't happy about that, because I thought, you're going to let me go. You at least look me in the eye and tell me that, right, Sean, well done, thanks for everything, but never. So again, listen, we move on for that. And I spoke to Dale, and Dale was great with me, to be fair, and still is. Dale still picks up the phone to myself at times as well. And but once I spoke to George, and obviously I went in and met Sean and that and the guys, and it's been great since. So it's been very good. And as I said, that, but me getting into the 18 side of things now as well, it's brilliant, because again, the 18s is the highest you can get in the academy. So, and obviously to work next to the assistant manager at the club is even better.
Mm-hmm. For your career, obviously we're currently in the midst of the Euros. How do you think that's been going?
It's been good. It's been good. It's been in a good walk. Obviously, I gutted about Scotland. I thought we were brilliant against the English. Absolutely superb. But obviously fell short in the next game. But no, it's been a great watch. You don't know who's going to win it now either. But obviously France and that been out, and
that's a bit crazy.
I did say I thought the Italians would have won it at the start of this.
Yeah.
And I'll probably stick by that. But Belgium looked good as well, and obviously England are always going to be there or thereabouts.
They've got the players, yeah. But the thing is, I think Scotland, they should have beat Croatia, and I think that their first game. You don't think so, Jason?
No,
No, I think with the
Czechoslovakia, they should have beat Czechoslovakia the first game.
Aye, the Czechs.
oh no, sorry, that's who I meant. Sorry, the Czechs,
Yeah.
the first game.
You're having one tonight. You're having one tonight.
I'm having a mare, but hey, it's just because I'm next to this big man. But the first game, they should.
First game, I know we spoke about it in depth. They had their chances. I think the England game, I think we could have came away with a
Should have won.
result there.
Yeah.
But to underestimate the creations was massive. I mean, when you're hearing comments that it's an age side and whatever, I just didn't buy that at all. And they showed their class. They really did. They showed their class at Hampden.
Some cracking goals along the way, right enough, haven't they?
It's always against us.
I tell you what, the game of the tournament for me, and there was been a few crackers, but I loved that game the other night there.
Spain,
the Spain game.
5-3.
Yeah.
Aye, Spain, Croatia.
Yeah, loved that game.
Then the game right after it.
What was after it?
It was 3 each.
Three
Was
each.
it 3 each?
3 each.
Was
Aye.
it Italy? Was it Italian game?
France.
France,
Switzerland.
Aye.
and the Swiss won. What a game! I mean, on the
brilliant.
penalties and everything else. So, who do you think's going to win it? Italy,
Aye, Italy for me.
Sean,
Italy for me. I called it right at the start.
Jason.
I'm just happy to be here.
Brilliant.
Very good, very good. Right, so call it a night there. Sean, thanks very much for your time. Obviously, you've just come straight in for training. Sean,
John, you have to stay on a wee bit later. Me and Jason's going to go after
You get the candles out, Peter.
aye. The wax melts.
That's it.
Sean, thanks very much again. Sorry to pull you off the driving range. Jason, sorry to take you away for your decking.
I know, yeah. I was in the presence of beauty and the angels.
What was that like?
Honestly,
you mentioned me twice here, Jason.
I'm looking at you actually, right? I'm looking at the headboard behind you, right?
Some
Sean
damage.
had the headboard
Some
behind
damage.
him earlier on
Some
there,
damage done to that.
right? So is that the only decent room you've got in the house? The bedroom?
What's that?
Is that the only decent room you've got in the house?
No, see, I was in the office before. Right, I can't go into my walk-in wardrobe, right? So I would need to go down the stairs. I told the boys this earlier. My missus took away her laptop, so I was fucked. I'm on my phone now.
Oh, you should have seen it earlier on, Jason. It was banging. It was banging the thing and everything. I thought, oh no, here we go.
How many takes did we have to do?
There was a few.
Oh, my arse, we're only two. Because if
Jason, if he tried to do that sharing thing again with all the videos and he fucked it again.
I had a couple of clips of Sean, right?
A couple of clips of me smashing people. You didn't have any scoring goals or that, know what I mean?
I know I had the choice of, 17 goals you've scored?
Aye. I know I need to get my 20.
But you've had nearly 450 appearances.
Aye. Well, I've had 2 in pre-season goals-wise, so hopefully, I've only played 4 games, so hopefully that can continue.
Definitely. Well, I wish you all the best with Swifty and Stenhousemuir for the coming season, mate. And then good luck with your coaching and all the very best with that and working alongside Sean. So, gentlemen.
Good luck with that.
Oh, Sean, you do look deed, mate.
I know.
Have a wee bit of background or something.
Do you know what? On a serious note, it's actually good to see Sean smiling this week. Big Sean, the boy, your colleague has been a bit crabbit. Now he's blaming the COVID thing.
I had gout as well.
To be fair, he was in a bad way at the coaches' meeting.
Thank you.
I must admit.
He's a trooper coming on the night.
To be fair,
Appreciated.
To be fair, I was a crabbit bastard at the coaches' meeting and all.
But here's something I can say for you, Sean. You were here on time. Your timekeeping is impeccable.
Jason.
Aye.
Jason.
Jason's all about standards, mate. That's how we coach. Come on.
Jason's just happy to be here.
Just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here.
Right, gents, I'll let you go on. Thanks very much once again for your company.
John, good luck, big man. Good luck, man.
All the very best.
Hey,
Cheers,
guys,
guys.
thanks very much.
Cheers, buddy. Right, bye.
Cheers, guys.